Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today instead of showing you a chess puzzle, I'll actually be playing a game. And this, as you can see, is a 15-minute game with 10-second time increment, meaning that each side has 15 minutes, and when you make a move, you gain an extra 10 seconds. So let's see who we are going to be paired up with. And now, I'm white, and I'll start off with e4, which I know best, and I'm actually going to play the King's Gambit because recently I've studied this opening, and when you take, you go respond with knight g3, and yes, this is the best move, and here I would just take, and if the queen takes, then you just play knight to c3, which attacks the queen and pretty much just forces it back. And now we will play pawn to d4, which attacks this pawn. So black will pretty much have to play bishop to d6, and we can just develop our bishop. We have pretty good development, and soon we're gonna castle. And the thing about this is that the rook also puts some pressure on this pawn, and my next few moves are just gonna be maybe moving this knight, maybe giving a check with my queen, and hopefully we can win this pawn back. But apart from that, we still have pretty good opening. We still have pretty good development, and I think we should give a check with our queen. That seems like a pretty good move. I haven't really studied this opening apart from the first 4 to 5 moves, so I'm not entirely sure what the plan is, but I think now we can actually go for a fried liver like attack on this pawn here on f7, which seems pretty good. And if we get that pawn, then we get a fork. However, the thing is, if we do that, they can simply castle, and the rook is defending this pawn. And usually you do not want to give up two pieces for a rook and a pawn. And I'm trying to think of another plan that maybe we can use, but there doesn't seem to be that good of a move. And pretty much if we play this move, it forces them to castle, and maybe we can win this pawn back. It seems like pretty good plan. And I'm not really sure if we should trade. I guess we can trade. It doesn't seem that bad. And yeah, the King's Gambit is a really risky opening. However, it does give us some quick development, and also usually you can have the semi-open file with the rook if you castle kingside, which can lead to some pretty good attacks later on. For example, this knight moves in, we have some pretty good pressure on this f7 pawn. And here obviously the knight is attacking the rook, so it must move. And I'm trying to see if there are actually some good sacrifices. And I think I see one, because the point is that if I take, they take, and I move my queen here, and how are they going to defend against mate? I'm not really sure actually, because if I take, they take with the queen, I go here, right, they can move the pawn back, and I'm pretty much out of moves, so that doesn't work. Is there anything better though? Wondering if I can do this. They take, I take, and it's still not that good, I guess, but it doesn't seem too bad either. And or I can just move the rook to e4. Well, I can't do that because of the knight. And my original plan, which is take, and here does not work. because they can simply take with a queen, and if I do go to e4, I think they can just play this move, and I am simply out of attacking moves because queen is covering, the pawn is covering. So maybe I can just move this rook back. Doesn't seem that bad. I'll just play rook to f1. And afterwards, we'll analyze this game and see what mistakes we made or what potential moves we could have played to maybe increase our advantage by a bit. And here, in my opinion, this pawn is obviously hanging. I just want to see if they maybe could have taken here, which would have been an amazing move because it's actually a fork. And luckily they didn't find it, because if they did that, I would have just resigned. Because obviously it's a fork, but now I can just move back, and this pawn is defended. And I did not see that when I was moving the rook, so later I'm going to have to analyze that. But for now, I'll put some defense on this pawn with rook to d4. And luckily they missed that tactic, otherwise I would have just been down a clean pawn and maybe even a bishop. So, a bit lucky they didn't find that, but let's continue on with this game. So, obviously my pawn is defended, and I think my position is not that bad actually. So now I can move the queen to g3 maybe, to... I'm actually trying to see if there are any sacrifices or cool moves that we might be able to do. Doesn't seem like much, so I'll just move the queen to g3. And some other moves that I'm considering are h3, which kicks away the bishop. And I just want to go back a few moves here, and just to make sure that they can indeed do this. Luckily they didn't see that, but right now the plan is to go h3, which will boot this bishop back, or maybe it takes, which I don't think is a good move, because this position is fairly open, and usually you want to have a bishop for a knight in open positions, since they can move all the way across the board. But this move, I don't think is that great, because I'm not actually trying to put pressure on this pawn. Instead, I'm trying to put a bit of pressure on this bishop, which I will just simply boot away with this move. And I see a pretty cool tactic here, actually. That is, if the bishop goes back to like one of these squares, I can actually take this knight, because they can't take back because we're actually checking. And luckily they spotted the defense. But if they did go back to somewhere like back here, I can take this knight, which would have been a pretty cool tactic. And I actually kind of want control of the e-file. And maybe I should consider trading rooks. Or I can bring the knight back. And play c3, which adds another layer of protection to this pawn, in case if I try to move it later in the game. I'm just trying to think if there are any moves that black will play if I do play this move h3. And once again, at this level, at the 1400-ish level, I think there are tactics all the time that you should try to find. But the point of this move is that I kind of want to trade off this knight for no good particular reason. And I also do not like the bishop here. So I'm trying to just think of a move. If I go here, then they can take. If I take, they can take here. And once again, they are threatening some kind of fork here. So I think I might just play knight back to e2. It doesn't seem that bad. The next moves that I might play are this, or maybe here. And this tactic obviously doesn't work now, unlike a few moves ago. But my position doesn't seem that bad. We gammoted a pawn, and we have a pretty decent position overall. And this move really weakens the c6 pawn, which I think I should try to take advantage of by moving my bishop back here. But I'm wondering if I can go here. They take, no. Trying to still see if there are any sacrifices. If I take, there aren't any good sacrifices. If I go here, then they simply take. So trying to think of whether I should move my bishop to b3 or to d3. And the thing is, if I move it to d3, I think it's a bit more active. It puts more pressure here, threatening to take, and also bring my knight forward. Now, this move is an interesting one, and also one that I did not see. And obviously my opponent is trying to get in here, which is sort of a problem. And I'm just trying to see if there are any refutations to this move. I don't think there are any, so I might just be forced to move my rook. It doesn't seem that bad, but I'm not a big fan of it either, so I think I'll just move my rook back here. And this position I don't think is that good for me. I think I sort of misplayed the opening a bit, and later I should probably study the opening more in depth. Maybe I should study the later moves of the King's Gambit, and here they're trying to screw up my pawn structure, which isn't good. And once again, I'm trying to see if there's any sacrifices. If I go here, they take, I take. Also trying to see if this move works. Since if they take, then I take this. No, it does not work, because they can go here, I go here, and they take with a queen. But then I'm wondering, what if I play this? And I'm kind of getting lost in all these lines. So once again, let's go over this. I go knight to e5. They probably take with the knight. I take with the pawn. They can't take back because my queen's protecting. If they go here, I take with the pawn. They take, and I'm down a pawn here, if you can see everything. But I'm wondering what will happen if I go here. And once again, the queen's here, the bishop's here. This bishop will probably have, no, the queen has to move. Not really sure. Let's just give it a try, and once again, we'll analyze this game later with an engine to see my mistakes and whether I played well or not. But once again, if they take this bishop, then we'll just take back with a knight. And I think I just blundered something, because I can't actually take back with the knight. Since I think they can go here, if I take, then they take. And Yeah, I think I just blundered. Maybe I didn't, because maybe they blundered and they missed the trick which I was going for, and don't really want to take here because of knight takes. And if I go here, then I saw a tactic which I was gonna do, but I maybe missed it. So once again, if I go here, they take. If I take like this, then they will take my rook. But then I'm wondering, what if I go here, threatening the rook in that square? Guess maybe I'll just go for this. It's not a pleasant position, but I don't think it's that bad either. I just have to sort of sharpen the opening and maybe play a bit more solid and calculate more. But I don't think I'm in a completely losing position. I still have some chances. Maybe I will lose this game. I think I am sort of losing this game. But once again, I cannot really take like this. But I just realized now that I can actually take with a queen, which is a move I didn't even see earlier, and now I think I'm actually better since I'm the one that is threatening some stuff. I can even take this, and if they take, it just completely damages their pawn structure. And I wouldn't say I played an amazing game because still I hang that fork a few moves back where the queen could have taken this pawn. But I'm just trying to see if I should go for this. If I do this, maybe I will have an isolated pawn. Doesn't seem that good, so I'll take with the rook and go for an endgame like this. And once again, I think his pawns are a bit overextended. I have pretty good control over the e-file, and maybe if they take and I take, and they take queens, then maybe I can even have a pass pawn, which will be really pleasant for me. And usually in these endgames, you definitely do not want their rook on your second file, in this case. And I want my rook on their 7th file, which will pretty much just attack all the pawns. And I'm thinking whether they can bring their king and attack my pawn, and maybe my pawn is a tiny bit overextended. My king is on the back rank, and probably I should just advance forward later. But I think they might be winning in the middle game. I am not entirely sure. But this is a pretty good move. I might just attack it with my rook. The in-game things are a bit complex now. And if you don't know, usually in games, even one move can matter. And it can be the biggest deciding factor whether it'll be a win or draw. And here I can play this move, which I think will just win me a pawn since they can't take. Otherwise, I would simply take. So I move up one, and I do not see a good move for them actually. And well, they can do that, but then what if I just do this? If I do that, they might push, which is sort of a problem, and maybe I should try to advance my own pawns. I think my pawns may be a tiny bit overextended, and I'll just bring my king up a bit for extra defense. But as you can see, my pawns make a pretty good shield here, and they aren't actually able to, their king isn't actually able to reach any of these scores, and my king can move up anytime. And maybe I'll play something like this. Maybe not now since they can move forward, but once my king reaches one of these scores, I'll definitely be thinking about moves like b3 and maybe advancing these pawns or pushing pawns over here. And they're up on time a bit, but I think I've sort of outcalculated them in this endgame. And I didn't do that good of a job in the opening, but still proud to be in an endgame like this. I don't think I'm actually losing. The best that can happen is a draw. And if I do lose this game, I will be pretty upset. I have 2 connected passed pawns. They're very advanced. My king is certainly more active than this king. These pawns can be a weakness since I can just target them with my king, which is closer, my rook, and this pawn, which can do tricks all the time. And I can also advance these 2 pawns, which will enhance the position for me even more. So I think I'm the one that's actually winning. And if they do something like this, then I might even be able to play e6. e6 and eventually move my king up, maybe here. And I don't know what the engine says, it might be +1, +2. But once again, it will analyze this game afterwards, their thinking. And yeah, they do not have that many moves. If they do that, we just take. If they do something like this pawn is really weak, and I'll just simply advance my king forward, and I am just better. I will check this position later and confirm whether I'm better or not. But for now, we'll just wait a bit, sit back and relax. And this is a pretty good move. I think I'll just move my king up. And once again, the threat is b3. Since now they can once again they cannot take because I take their rook. Even if they do get pretty close, I just bring my rook back, everything's defended. And they can't push either, since I will just take. If they take, I take, and once again my pawns form a really nice bind here, and I think I'm just winning here. And if they do something like this, b4, then I'll take this pawn. I'll have 3 connected passed pawns, which is even better. So I did think this move might come, and I was going to go here. Let me just think. If I go here, they bring their king up. I take, they take, I go here. Actually not a fan. I'm not a fan of this because in the end they can sort of wiggle their king over here a bit, which might be a problem. Let me just go over this once again. I go here, they come here, I take, they take, I take, here, take, here, and I have this move. So maybe I will go for this. Hopefully I didn't blunder anything, but I think I'm still winning. And this might, the king to d6 might be their best hope. And later I'll maybe push my pawn to g4 just to add some more security in case if the 3-on-2 here, if they do push forward with the 3-on-2. But apart from that, I think this certainly is a winning endgame for me. They have it's really hard to stop these 2 passed pawns. And these pawns are also pretty weak. The rook anytime is able to move here, and they just blunder a clean rook. Thank you very much. Once again, I told you if they do that, maybe I blundered. I think I did blunder. But this is actually very interesting because they cannot go there. It's actually mate. And I'm just trying to see who will actually win, because I might have actually blundered this. I maybe might have actually blundered this. I did not see that they could do that. And it's certainly my fault. And I'm just wondering if I can push if they promote. I go here, king up, here, queen, king takes, here, here. Maybe I actually did blunder this, but anyways, let's go over this line once again. If I move up, they promote. Oh, they can't promote because I just checkmate them, like this, simple. So if I go here, they actually cannot promote, and instead they must move their king here. And I advance one. I think I'm actually the one winning, because if I go here, they cannot promote, because if they promote, it's, first of all, it's not check, which is really good, and I'm actually mating them. And if I go here and they move here instead of promoting, then I will move my pawn up. They are forced to go here. And if I move up one, they take. I don't think it's that good, honestly. I think the best I can get is probably a draw. Since if they, first of all, if they move here, then this may be winning for me. Because I go here, these, and he moves here. I think it might be winning for them if they do not promote on the first move. He goes there. I advance. Hold on, I'm just trying to run this line all over once again. I'm just gonna concentrate for a tiny bit here, so I'm not gonna talk. Alright, I might just risk it for the biscuit. Yeah, I think this might be pretty good. Cannot promote its mate. If they go here, I'm thinking of moving up. They have to go there. Yeah, I think this is actually better for me. Because if they go there, I go here, and it's... I mean, I am about to promote, and I think I'm winning. I'm actually winning here, so I calculated right. This is really good, and before, when I saw that he couldn't have taken the pawn, this is pretty much just mate. He has to go there, and I will respond with this. Good move, good game, good game. It's a really good game, and I don't think I played that well. There were some mistakes, but let me just run the game over with an engine, and like I said before, I did not see that they could have pushed the pawn, and that they did not have to take my pawn, but... So I played at a 75 accuracy. I don't think that's that bad, but it's not that good either. And yeah, they had many winning opportunities in that game. But let's run it over. So these were some pretty good moves, and here I should have played the move d4, but I played this. They go back. So they're all relatively normal moves, and here I made the blunder of, yeah, see, this is a blunder since they can just play this. And I did see this move afterwards, and what I should have done is knight captures f7. Wow. And if they capture back, what do I do? Bishop takes, king takes, and rook to f2. And this is actually better than what I played here, which is rook back. Luckily they missed that, and I immediately retrieve. Play some pretty good moves here. This is a not that bad of a move. Attack the bishop, bishop moves back, and here I made another blunder. I guess I should have just immediately gone for the trade, but I was worried of this, which I could have simply refuted with this move, which I didn't see. Another tactic which I missed, but I moved back here, here, here. All pretty relatively normal moves, and once again I thought this was a mistake, and I was just gonna risk it for the biscuit, but another blunder, and once again they could have done a fork here, and I missed that. Once again, I saw that they could have forked earlier, but I didn't see that. Blunders, best move, best move, best move. Here, these moves are pretty good, which I thought. And this is actually a draw, but now I'm sort of winning. These moves are all best. This was a blunder, because once again, I thought they had to take. I did not see that they could have just pushed. I completely missed this move, actually. I thought they must take, and I will simply bring my rook back. They also missed that. We both missed this tactic. And this is a miss-win. So if had I gone here, king takes, this would have been a winning in-game for me, since this pawn is just too far advanced. But neither of us saw that, and instead we went for this in-game. And here they blundered. If they gone here, it would have been better, since they can just promote, and this is actually a theoretical draw. Instead, they play the wrong move. I bring my pawn up, they go here, it is simply mate. I mean, I just play the best moves, and it's mate. Pretty glad I found this. It was not the best move. Not the best move, not the best game that I played, but it's still a win nonetheless, so I'm pretty happy about that, and I'll see you all in my next video. Goodbye.